In today's video, I'm going to be taking a look at Kenneth Lofton Jr. and what he's able to do on the court. Now, I'm usually not a fan of somebody who is slightly heavier, but he uses that to his advantage, and I'm going to say it's at least 90% muscle because the dude is a beast. So let's get down and let's check out Kenneth Lofton Jr. and what he is able to do on the court that you can do as well. Really quickly, if you want to be able to shoot the basketball from further away, make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below. Okay, so in this clip, what we see is a little bit of a miscommunication when it comes to defense, and then Kenneth Lofton Jr. makes them pay. How he does that is by taking a three-point shot while being absolutely wide open. Well, how did this happen? Well, this all happened because the play is actually pretty genius. He sets a screen for Kenneth Lofton Jr. Lofton Jr. then uses that screen and goes towards the point. At the exact same time, what his teammates are doing, for one, they're clearing out space in the corners, and then his other teammate makes a cut above him, which to his main defender, what this is showing is that this is probably going to be a dribble handoff. So he sags off, he doesn't worry about the screen, and he's just going to be sitting back in the key thinking that Kenneth Lofton Jr. is going to be rolling towards the basket. However, he keeps the ball, his defender is now stuck in the key. There's at least about maybe 10 feet worth of space between him and his defender, so then he makes them pay from the three-point line, and he's actually a pretty solid shooter. Now, they're starting in horns. They're not actually on the elbows right here. They've moved up just a bit, which is fine. They want to space the floor just a little bit better, which is fine. I've seen a lot of teams do stuff like this. And then they pass into Kenneth Lofton Jr. At this time, what they do is actually pretty ingenious. They set a screen for the other player on what normally would be on the horn, but instead he's way up here. They set the away screen here. He uses that screen, and then he has the opportunity to use this as a dribble handoff. However, because Kenneth Lofton Jr. most likely doesn't feel his defender on him, he thinks that this man has dropped off reading the play for the dribble handoff, so he holds on to the ball himself. He was right. His man dropped off. If he gave the handoff to this player, he would have been stopped easily by Kenneth's defender. So by holding on to that ball, he now has the opportunity to make that bounce pass into his teammate who is now cutting to the rim. Now, really quickly, if you go for a dribble handoff and you hold on to it, or you are this man right here who's using the dribble handoff and doesn't get the ball, your next option has to be to cut to the rim. You're going to be opening up a lot of opportunities to be able to score in that situation. Now, this next play actually really surprised me. I know anytime a player doesn't pass the eye test for being like the most in shape, crazy, skinny person ever, you automatically assume that they're unable to play help defense and they're unable to move quick enough to be able to guard multiple players at once. Well, here he contested on that help side. That player passed to Kenneth's man, and then he was still able to rebound and still block this shot. This is something that a very agile, very fast player is able to do, and he's able to do it. This is why he is such an amazing player. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, somebody of Kenneth Lofton's size and height hits you as he hits his defender right here. Watch, right there. That is going to hurt. And then he backs it up with a second one right here. That is going to wind that defender so much. And look at the gap he was able to create by doing that. And he did that actually perfectly. Because if you watch in slow motion really quickly, watch this right there. He is getting his shoulder, and if he pulls it up this direction, you are now going up into and under the rib cage. And if done properly, which hopefully he did it properly there, that player is probably going to be winded for a very minimum of 2 to 3 minutes. So your next 2 to 3 minutes on defense or even on offense is going to be much easier because he is not going to be able to keep up with you as easily. Now, this was called a foul, a shooting foul. He was able to shoot some free throws, and he made that shot as well. Now, you may be saying, well, why was this called a foul? Well, when he made contact with his defender, because he made the contact first, he is at the advantage. This player on defense was moving and his arms were down, which makes this referee call the foul. He also sets really solid screens, especially if they are used correctly as this one was, and then, because the screen was set so solid, it forced Kenneth's defender to go and help out on this drive. There was no communication. The main defender on the ball stayed with his man, which then allowed Kenneth Lofton Jr. to be wide open for that little push shot at the free throw line. Oh, and also, did I mention that he can shoot and shoot extremely well? I really like his shot. He is not like the average left-handed shooter. Usually a left-handed shooter has such a big tilt to be able to get their elbow and their shoulder in line, but he doesn't have as much of a tilt. He actually has the average tilt of a right-handed player, and to me that's kind of rare. As somebody who breaks down a ton of shooters and their shooting form at the pro level, at the college level, and even at the high school level, left-handed shooters have a massive tilt just so that they can get this in line. He doesn't have that as a lefty shooter. So his shot, in my opinion, is probably going to be a bit faster than the average lefty, but also just as accurate, if not more accurate. So overall, he's a fantastic player. There's a reason why he's probably going to get some better time in the NBA this year, at least in my opinion. He's a fantastic player. He doesn't pass the eye test to most, but to me, as soon as you start seeing him play, he passes the eye test extremely easily. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe. Make sure to go check out my shooting workout that is down in the description below, and I'll see you guys again in my next video.